Hi guys, we're here at the Detroit Fanfare with industry legend Tony Isabella. How you doing, Tony?
I'm doing fine.
Yeah? Great. Now, you know, you were actually, it's kind of interesting, you're actually the creator of one of the first black leading superheroes. Am I correct? Black Lightning?
That's correct. I'm the creator.
The creator, sole creator.
Creator, yes. I was the sole creator of Black Lightning. The artist came on later after all the actual work was done with creating the character himself.
Okay.
And the character was not created as work for hire. I mean, it was a partnership between myself and DC Comics.
Sure. So then technically, you are entitled to royalties, creator royalties, things like that?
Yes, but it's kind of an ongoing struggle to get them.
Now, if I recall correctly, when they revived the character in the 90s, you wrote it for a while and then you were let go. Is that what happened?
I was fired.
Fired, you could say fired. Yeah.
A new editor came in and fired me. His stated reason for firing me was that I was late. He fired me 6 weeks before the first issue shipped, and I had written 9 issues at that point.
So you think he was telling a fib?
I think he was lying through his ass. Can I say ass in Canada?
You can't say lie.
He was fabricating a story through his ass.
Interesting. Okay, thank you. There you go. That's how we do it in Canada. Okay, now, you know, I'm actually a big fan of your work in the 80s that you did on Hawkman. Did you enjoy that experience?
Oh, I loved working on Hawkman. Dick Giordano had approached me because he wanted me to write something for the company. Gave me a list of characters. I'd never been a huge Hawkman fan. I always liked the character, but the more I researched it, the more I found things I could do. And once I decided that the Absorbiscon, was like the most fearsome weapon of war you could have because it enabled you to know everything your enemy knew, that took the series from just superhero to being this really dark, scary superhero stuff.
I actually found, reading your old Hawkmans in the 80s, that I found it so, in a good way, very lighthearted. Very, maybe not lighthearted, but definitely a different type of realism than there is today. Like the types of things they did, the way they interacted with each other, everything is sort of grim and sort of miserable now. Do you find that yourself?
I find a lot of stuff grim, but when I'm writing stuff, I also try to find the positives and the humor. In the case of Hawkman and Hawkwoman, their speech patterns were based on those of myself and my wife.
Okay.
So the humor parts that came through there was very much real to life. And the grim stuff, I mean, I just tried to come up with real scary stuff. Not scary like, oh, there's a big monster. More like scary, this person knows my deepest secret, and now I have to do what he wants.
Like anxiety, more anxiety.
Right.
Yeah. So, okay, Hawkman is a character that after you worked on the character, went through many different incarnations, transformations, reboots. What are your feelings on all that?
I haven't really followed any of them. You know, I've read a Hawkman comic here and there, but for the most part, when I've been with a character for a long time, I tend to stay away from the character after that. I mean, I won't read any Black Lightning comics that I haven't written. I did read everything Mike Barr did with the character in The Outsiders, but Mike was a friend of mine and respected the character. In the case of Hawkman, I could never really get into the Hawkman stories after mine.
Sure.
In the case of Ghost Rider, though, I very much liked what some of the people who followed me on Ghost Rider did. I thought Mike Fleischer did some really good stories. I thought Roger Stern did some great stories. So it kind of depends on the character.
So is there a difference in the way the industry is working now versus the way it was, say, in the 70s or 80s that you've really noticed?
Oh, yeah. It hasn't affected me personally because I haven't been doing comic books recently until just now. But the editors are very much hands-on, to the point where some of them treat their writers like typists.
Okay.
I have no interest in being an editor's typist. The great thing about writing the Grim Ghost for Atlas comics is that once we got through our getting to know each other period and our meeting cute period, we got to a point where they let me do what I do best. They let the artist do what he does best. They stand by and applaud. They call their shots. When they have a suggestion now, it's not a picky one. It's usually a good one, and I find ways to incorporate them. It's one of the best working relationships I've had in the industry. Comic Book Syndicate, assemble!